my top 5 smartphones of 2025. A realistic take. Putting together a top 5 phones of the year list sounds simple until you actually try to do it in 2025. In a year packed with launches, refinements, and incremental upgrades, finding 5 phones you genuinely enjoy, not just respect on paper, is surprisingly hard. In fact, some of my colleagues didn't even manage 5. A couple stopped at 4, another barely reached 3, and one list was basically the same foldable idea repeated in different forms. That alone should tell you something about where smartphones are right now. So this list is a little unusual. It's not entirely personal. It's not purely objective. It's definitely not driven by hype. There's one phone I truly love, a few that earned their place through real-world value, and a couple that made the list because they represent where the industry is heading, even if they're not for me. Let's break it down. Samsung Galaxy Z Trifold. Impressive, even if it's not for me. I'll say this up front. Foldable phones don't fit my lifestyle. I've tried clamshells. I've lived with book-style foldables. I've tested phones that turn into tablets. None of it makes sense for how I use a smartphone. My phone is mostly for messaging, scrolling, quick tasks, and having excellent cameras available just in case. For that kind of use, flexible screens usually bring more compromises than benefits. But here's the thing. My use case isn't everyone's. The Samsung Galaxy Z Trifold is one of the most ambitious foldables we've seen so far. It works as a normal phone when folded, and when opened, it transforms into a properly sized tablet with a more usable aspect ratio than most current foldables. What really stands out is how well Samsung protects the flexible display when it's closed. Compared to other trifold attempts, this design feels more mature and more practical for daily use. Yes, it's extremely expensive. Yes, the cameras would be considered average on a much cheaper traditional phone. But this device isn't about photography. It's about pushing the foldable concept forward. And in that sense, it succeeds. I wouldn't buy one. But I respect what it represents. And that earns it a spot here. iPhone 17 Pro and Pixel 10 Pro. Different ecosystem, same appeal. These two phones live in the same category in my mind, which is why I'm grouping them together. Every year, I'm tempted by at least one of them, sometimes both. And every year I end up walking away. Apple and Google still deliver a certain feeling that's hard to quantify. The hardware feels refined, the displays look polished. Animations are smoother. And the overall experience feels cohesive in a way few brands manage. They're also the only two manufacturers consistently building Key 2 magnetic support directly into the phone, which is something I keep chasing. Even though I'm not entirely convinced how practical it really is in my daily use. So why don't they win me over? Cameras. In 2025, both the iPhone 17 Pro and Pixel 10 Pro are reliable, predictable, and safe. But they're not exciting anymore. And for me, exciting cameras matter. Magnets and premium vibes can't replace that. That's why these phones remain on my almost list. Respected, admired, but never fully chosen. Vivo X300, a phone that simply gets it right.
Right.
This one earned its place the honest way. Someone close to me had been searching for a replacement for Pixel 7 Pro, with very clear requirements. Smaller size, better rear cameras, a stronger selfie camera, all-day battery life. Many phones came close. None nailed everything. Then came the Vivo X300. It's compact without feeling compromised. The cameras are modern and capable. The selfie camera is genuinely better than the Pixels, and the battery life, especially on the non-EU version, is excellent. 4 requirements, 4 wins. She loves using it. And honestly, if a phone fits someone's needs that perfectly, it deserves recognition. Even if it's not the one I personally use every day. That's why the Vivo X300 makes my top 5. Oppo Find X9 Pro. My favorite phone of 2025. This is the one. The Oppo Find X9 Pro is the phone that checks nearly every box for me. It's It's a serious camera phone paired with excellent battery life, strong performance, and thoughtful design decisions. It even supports Key 2 through a first-party case with a built-in metal ring. A small detail, but one I genuinely appreciate. Yes, ultra-level camera phones technically push photography even further. But many of those devices remain China-only or extremely difficult to get globally. I'll believe in a global Find X9 Ultra or Vivo X300 Ultra when I actually have one in my hands. Until then, the Find X9 Pro feels like the most complete, balanced package available. In direct camera comparisons, it consistently aligned better with my priorities than the Vivo X300 Pro. Battery life also plays a role, especially in EU trims. And the Oppo simply lasts longer when it matters. For a short time, we almost became a Vivo-only household. But in the end, the Oppo Find X9 Pro is better at being my phone. Final thoughts. Practical over passion. You may notice something about this list. It's not overflowing with excitement. That's because smartphone progress has slowed in a very specific way. Major improvements still happen, but they often come with trade-offs elsewhere. It's harder than ever to find a phone that feels like a no-compromise upgrade. This top 5 isn't about hype or brand loyalty. It's about balance, practicality, and real-world use. Hopefully, the next generation of Ultra devices changes that. Until then, these are the phones that truly stood out in 2025.